green flag. The anticipation building in the drivers, but the green flag is down. The drivers are on their way, and it's a little bit spread out in that LMP2 field. Some drivers already trying to make a 3 wide, careening their way down into the Tamburello chicane for the first time by. Everyone wants to lead lap number 1, but you don't want to end up in the barriers. It's 3 wide in the LMP2 field. Some drivers going off. That's a Rising Panda racing car, a little bit slow, dropping down the running order, but still Race Ventura leading it in the LMP2 field. Meanwhile, look at this pack at the north end of the LMP3 fight. It's Rising Panda Racing, the number 47, leading it for now. However, they're trying to hold off any sort of challenge they can, and they're also getting dicey with the back of the LMP2 field. Speaking of the GSE Racing Esports LMP2 car running 18th in class of 37, just went off the track coming out of the Villeneuve chicane, but so far clean heading through the Tosa hairpin for the first time by. Meanwhile, in the LMGT3 category, it's a ResTech Reporter Corsa Mercedes leading it over their sister car, the number 60, right behind in P2. It's a Mercedes Stranglehold, and Jamie, we were talking about this before the start of this broadcast, how shocking it is that these drivers can wheel that Mercedes as well as they can around this racetrack. ResTech Reporter Corsa, that 73, put on a clinic on the field last time out at Magny-Cours, won the race with a car ready for the scrap heap, and it looks like they're going to try and continue that dominance into this round at Imola, but looking all up and down the field. So far, so clean throughout a vast majority of the field. Knowing my luck, I probably just jinxed it, and we could see a car going off in the not too distant future. But some hard racing.
1 hour 15, but we'll see how this progresses for them, but it's not looking great based off the start of this race.
And so the storylines begin to develop, and the interclass mingling begins as well. You can see some racing in the LMP2 field with a driver dropping back. That was a World of Sim Racing team number 51, very slow heading through Piratella. Very different race car with a spin coming out of Villeneuve, and here is what caused it.
So, in a battle with the LS Racing number 13, oh, that's a tricky one where kept it pinned on exit and then just knocked Garrett Spence around there in the 21 car. So, not ideal there. I'm sure Race Control will have a little look at that. Oh my goodness.
Trying to rebound, however, with this moment, they are out of it, and it was contact in that small little flat out blast between Tosa and Piratella. You can see side by side with the 95, and oh, it was a huge crash there. I believe that may have been the Delta Racing 41 that came in and just piled into them, and we're hearing word from Race Control.
Oh goodness, that's a big issue for Dorian Lelevre in the trackside racing team car. Notice that they did just fall down the field. That motor is gone, done, and finished. That is probably day done as well. It's a shame for the number 68 car.
That is, I think, the first motor blow-up that I've seen in quite some time here on Apex Racing TV, as look at this between the 43 ResTech Reporter Corsa and that Delta Racing number 41. These drivers are battling for that final podium position as side-by-side heading into the Tamburello chicane. 41 on the inside now. 43 got to make contact with them heading through the second part of the Tamburello chicane. No harm done, too much harm done, that is, as nearly some contact with the drivers who have now inherited that battle for the podium spot. Tri-State Racing going side by side with MV Skin Labs DS Racing for that final podium spot. The team that won last time out at Magny-Cours now inheriting a podium spot in all of that. And ResTech, they have had a terrible start to this race, at least when it comes to the LMP2 field. They're now running in 5th and 6th after starting this race in 2nd and 4th. And we just saw that get put on full display one lap ago.
Yeah, we certainly did, as the two ResTech cars are going to go side by side. Not quite. The 43 will hang on, and that leaves Targetcelli in the 22 off balance basically, and it's all starting to kick off. Oh, he's off the road. He's off the road. I'm not sure what's happened there, but the 22 off the road, 46 through, and the Delta Racing car is back up into P6. It's all chopped and changed. You can see running very wide, heading through Aqua Minerale, and that's going to give him the perfect opportunity to try and go for the move heading into the chicane. Going for a move like that, you need to know that's going to stick, and you need to be firm and aggressive to get it done, and that's exactly... It's not ideal. No. I don't like to see that at all. Yeah, 74 is
pulled wide to give room.
Considering the close quarters racing around this track, as we're going to take a look at another moment involving the Division 1 Motorsports car going side by side, heading through Ravazza, making contact and spinning around, heading through turn number 15, and that was contact with another LMP2 car. Seeing that car be a little bit unstable heading through that is not ideal. It's 3 wide involving LMP3 with a beautiful maneuver put on the Dynaco Racing team. It's still not over yet. 3 wide coming out of Toza with the Delta Racing BMW involved in that as well. I believe that's a number 4 car that was stuck in the midst of that. But this is a fantastic fight between Dynaco Racing team trying to hold off and contact coming out of Piratella. It was themselves and the Focus Racing.
Fuel, so if you're running on lower fuel versus another car on high fuel, that's typically worth quite a bit around here with all the stopping and starting that you're doing. So that got my ideal, but good job from those guys to extend their first stint. That's a tight squeeze there between Rising Panda there and then the 87 for an a little bit strategy, or do you conserve, take things easy, and hope it plays out for you in the end? That remains to be seen, as it looks like Ricardo Santos is potentially struggling there a little bit. That's Brian Toccacelli up into top 5.
Racing may have had an up and down season, and here is a replay to see something that happened to them a few moments ago. Sadly, the replay is a little bit glitched out on my end. Jamie, what's going on here?
Yeah, so that's just a big move there from the 57 on the 11 into Variante Alta, so I think I'm going to be right here. No, okay, it's not actually on the inside curb, it's just a little bit too much speed carried in. Kind of missed the curb then ever so slightly.
When it comes to these races, confidence is just so big as a crash heading through Variante Alta. Multiple cars stopped. Thankfully, that incident is going to clear itself. You can see the GSE Racing Esports LMP2 running 15th in class was in the midst of that. Some LMP3s involved as well. And here is the replay. We're following the Dynaco Racing team number 98 heading into the chicane, trying to get a move done on LMGT3 traffic, and all the Mustang getting in the midst of that. And you can see not a whole lot of contact. Number 5, not really sure why they had to come in for the pits. And you can see running wide, heading through the chicane the first time by. I think that was really just a case of getting caught up in the red.
Trying to lock down a solid result for that 29 car.
Some side-by-side action develops here in the LMP2 field. That's World of Sim Racing team, the number 51, who very briefly took the lead of this race.
A tough day so far. They've looped it a couple of times now. Just getting off balance there through the left, and then as we get a replay here of the 95 Dinoco Racing team car, driven by Matthias Medahi, who stuck on pole last time out at Mangi Court, going for a little half spin there in Toza. A few seconds lost there, but no harm done. But it is quite easy to do that.
Heading into the chicane, heading through the braking zone, hits that first curb, hits that second curb, and it's that weight transfer between the two.
What happens with the 19? Just run it wide, clip the gravel, and he's sort of got tipped round end over end there.
Not only the lead of the race, but a very fast race car and maybe a full course yellow, as the Delta Racing number 4 is stopped on track heading into the Villeneuve chicane. He is in neutral right now, and you can see a little bit, I believe that would be right hand down on the steering wheel, possibly some contact heading through Tamburello, and he's stopped on the side of the track. I'm listening very carefully to hear full course yellow coming in 20 seconds, and this may be some sort of hardware failure, possibly. Oh my god, I think that may have been the Rising Panda Racing number 47 that nearly just got cleaned out by the Delta Racing 4. We're gonna ride on board with Rising Panda Racing, maybe. His engine blew up, another engine failure. So as much as the hot track temperatures were going to try and affect the tires, they've also affected the engine, and Rising Panda Racing just had a scare to end all scares. We nearly just saw an airplane crash heading into Villeneuve. Quite a lot at this stage. 1 hour and 48 minutes on the board, coming up to 1 hour and 49. But these drivers are still battling. And look at this, Brian Toccacelli and that Red Stick Reparto Corsa number 22, trying to get that move done down the inside into the Villeneuve chicane. This is a battle for P12 and P13 in the LMP2 fight, and some contact heading through the Villeneuve chicane. Some hip check motions between these two. You gotta look a little bit farther up the road. That's a Red Stick Reparto Corsa Mercedes. That may play a role in this fight. Ooh, as an off track for the Evolve Racing 57, that's heading through Variante Alta, and that's a big hit on the outside wall. I saw a bit of front end bodywork, I believe, pop off the car. Actually, no, it looks like everything is still on it, but that car is stopped of Elliott Earhart in that Evolve Racing number 57, heading into the Variante Alta chicane. Big moment heading through, and that was a hit, a salacious hit into that outside tire barrier as a drive-through penalty. Sure, it was a BMW, it was a 3-car, yeah, you can see a little bit farther up the road, and we're going to take a look at a replay to see exactly what happened here. Oh, it was contact with themselves and the VR Racing Mustang under yellow. The team that were running at a podium position, it has all gone horribly wrong in the past few moments, and it was...
Oh,
what?
no.
Oh, no. Oh, that was a salacious impact into the pit attenuator.
So they did the same thing, it seems, again, and this time did get penalised for it. It was for a violation on lap 79. So those guys did have to come in. They've served their drive-through and they've lost third position to the Tri-State Racing car, currently now driven by Bart Mattia. So, yeah, swap of position there. They're 10 seconds back in fourth as we still look side-by-side racing here between 22 driven now by Luca Leonardi and by Stefan Le Guin, or the 88 Squadron Veloce by ERS. Still side by side, coming through Paratel. It's excellent racing so far, lads. Keep it up. That's a wonderful move round the outside. It's so difficult to get that right, but if done correctly.
Some LMGT3 traffic, some blinking going on as well, and ran into the back of the number 3 Tri-State Racing BMW.
Let's see, so trying to overtake an LMP3, big dive up the inside, just loses it on entry. Oh, that's so unfortunate there for the LMP3. Onto the brakes, fine through there, fine through there. Okay, yeah, I see it now. Okay, so yeah, just running a little wide through the second part of the tamper. Goes to send it up the inside, and yeah, it's just got pushed around on corner exit. That's a slam dunk penalty if I ever seen one. So that's a shame for those guys. They could do with not having a little tap against it. Something that we mentioned at the top of the race and hasn't really been mentioned since, but probably worth, as we just look at the big move up the inside, facilitated there by the 88, clean move, and Harvey Orthe there. Now, I will say that it's only a 25 to 30% there towards the end and back. Oh, round goes the sort of net leading kicks off for the next 50 minutes. It will still probably be a cleaner race than the previous two. So that's not me jinxing it, I hope. That's me sort of stating that.
Of drama if that ended in tears, and here is a replay of that spin. Simple self spin. Oh, and it was contact as well. Who was that ran into the side? A lot, and that can give you a lot of good points, and it looks like it's going to be a very good points day for them. Meanwhile, Revolution E-Racing going off the track and losing a...
Santos closing it. Actually, big move up the inside. Huge move up the inside. And it's side by side then through time. Oh, no.
No.
Well, get to keep going. Patience for
Yep.
the 85. Yeah. And okay, right, let's do it again. Up the inside into Villeneuve. And it looks like Leonardo. Yeah, let's take a look. So I suspect that they've just dropped it by themselves. They have, and then arriving at the scene of the accident comes the 87. That's a tough break. That's a really tough break for those guys. Bit unfortunate. Adam Cooper's really struggling. You can see the damage to the front right. I mean, he's also steering to the left just to keep the car on the wall. Okay, right. So he's going to try and overturn marshal post and request the ability to remove the car. He's not able to get that back to the pits under his own steam, but yes, he's got it over to this.
Sorry to budge in, Jamie, but this is a race director's call. They told Coop to pull over to the side of the track, and another full course yellow is going to come out here. It's not going to bunch up the field. If anything, This has been a clinic he's put on this field. They have, I don't think, put a foot wrong all day long. And coming around Ravazza for the final time, Benjamin Howman is going to hit that start-finish not so straight away, and he is going to be victorious for the third round of the European Sports Car Championship. There's the checkered flag. Race Ventura and Benjamin Howman end up winning it in dominating fashion over NOP, who still have not come across the line. And speaking of coming across the line, it's going to be a dominating show from ResTech Reparta Corse coming across a side-by-side in formation. A 2-lap victory for ResTech Reparta Corse to cap off a dominating drive, and it's going to be a back-to-back win for Rising Panda Racing. They won at Magny-Cours last time out, and they're going to win here at Imola for round 3 of the season. There's a checkered flag for Rising Panda Racing. They are victorious in the LMP3 category. This series, meanwhile, though, has been impressive so far, and with that race, we're now officially halfway through. We've got a fantastic trifecta of races to round this season off. Spa on September the 7th, Mugello on October the 5th, and then Portimao on November the 9th. We've got some great racing action coming for you here on Apex Racing TV. Say thank you all so very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you all again wherever it is in the not too distant future.